My next segment is brought to you by Kal Tire, and you'll want to give this one a listen because it's possible you fall into one of these categories. A recent Kal Tire survey shows an average of 11% of respondents never had their winter tires removed last spring. And among those who did switch out their winter tires, 60% plan to wait until at least November or when snow is forecast or even falling to have their winter tires installed. Joining me to discuss why you may want to rethink that strategy is Tiffany Moyer, Store Manager of Kal Tire in Waterloo, Ontario. Welcome to the show, Tiffany.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's get to the first one. Why is this year a bad year to wait until the snow flies?
Well, it's 2020, so everything is going to take a little bit longer than normal.
Right. We're all used to those waits, to get back in. And now that Ontario is back in a second wave, we very well may see, those long lines outside of stores again that we were seeing, in June.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay. So let's talk about that 11% though, because when I read that survey, I was actually surprised that number was not higher because when we went into lockdown, it was March, still very much winter in Canada. Things started to loosen up around June. I imagine a lot of people thought, I'll just leave the winter tires on, why bother? But what happens to your tires when you drive them on in summer conditions, your winter tires?
Yeah, well, those winter tires, they're soft. They're good for snow, good for ice, good for those cold temperatures. But what they really don't like is those warm temperatures, especially the 20 and 30-degree days that we saw all summer. So the main thing that's going to happen is there's going to be faster and uneven wear of the tires. You're going to see poor performance on wet and dry because of that squishier compound. So you're cornering, you're braking. It takes a little longer to respond because you get a little bit of sway in those tires. And you'll actually notice a decrease in your fuel economy on your vehicle because those tires have that softer compound. Your vehicle needs to work a little bit harder to spin them, which decreases that fuel economy.
So the tires don't perform well in the summer, but then if you're going to go into the winter with them, what's going to happen in the winter if you've now worn that tread?
Yeah, so the most important thing to do is if you've ran your winter tires all summer, have a visual inspection done on them. If you can do it or stop in at your local mechanic or Kal Tire, they'll gladly do that for you. You're going to want to make sure you're looking for even wear so that the tread's nice and flat across it, the corners aren't worn off on your tire, and you're also going to want to take a tread depth measurement on the tire.
Okay, and that's just a little tiny tool you can pretty much pick up anywhere, right?
Yeah, it's a little tire tread depth gauge. You push the needle all the way out, and then you find the shallowest looking part of your tire. You put the needle in the groove, and then you just apply pressure until the base meets the top of the tire tread. And then you can just read the measurement right on the side.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's talk about then the winter tires. When can you safely switch over to winter tires? And it's not when the snow flies. I know this one, spoiler alert.
Yeah, that's the big thing. They're winter tires. They're not just snow tires. So your winter tires are going to start outperforming your summer or all season tire at positive 7 degrees Celsius. That's when that soft compound stays flexible, other than your all season tire that, for a bit of a Canadian analogy, is when it starts to get cold, it's going to turn into that hockey puck on you. That rubber is going to start to freeze. And then when you don't have that flexibility in the tread, your braking, your cornering, all of that is compromised.
Yeah, it's funny, because it's true. We do tend to think, oh, it's not winter until the snow's here. But a lot of times you'll go out this time of year even, and, you'll have a really cold night and the roads will be icy in the morning, which is all the more reason to have those tires on.
Yeah, and that's when you get some of those dangerous conditions is maybe there was a bit of a frost or a fog the night before and it's now frozen and you get those really thin layers of ice and water on the roads. That's when you want a tire that's going to respond to that. And unfortunately, all season tires just aren't really made for those in between months in Canada.
Okay, I want to talk about that actually, because I think this is something that, I've worked with Kal Tire for several years. And so I think I'm fairly well versed on tires now. I think a lot of people though still don't know the difference between a winter tire, an all season tire, and an all weather tire. So let's break that down for people so that they understand that.
Yeah, so your all season tire, or Kal Tire, we actually classify them as a 3-season tire to kind of make that a little bit easier on the consumer, to that it's not actually an all-season tire in Canada. If you live in Florida or Nashville, absolutely, right? But that 3-season tire, it's not, the compound won't stay flexible under 7 degrees, doesn't do well with that slush, snow, ice, things like that. An all-weather tire is something that it's a tire that you can use year-round, but it's made with a different compound that resists temperature change. So in the winter, it doesn't melt away on you, and in the summer it doesn't, in the summer it doesn't melt away on you, and in the winter it doesn't turn incredibly hard, it still stays soft. That tire has a tri-peak mountain and snowflake symbol, which is your severe service emblem. So in Ontario, which the really great thing is that gives you your insurance discount as well, because it's classified as a winter tire. Don't have to worry about those seasonal changeovers. So especially if you're not somebody who does a lot of driving in the winter, or if it's a really gross day, you don't need to leave your home. This is a really good option that you can run it year round, but still have that enhanced grip in the winter.
Yeah. And, and in a place like Toronto, really, there's not a ton of snowfall. So it's actually the perfect place to get those all weather tires, as opposed to say somewhere, like Ottawa or, Northern Ontario, where the snow is much greater. You really want to have those winters on. But in places where, Southern Ontario, where the snow is really not that great anymore, that all weather tire is perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Where you're going to start, if you live somewhere where they start to get that snowpack or that really, really heavy fall, absolutely a dedicated winter tire is what you want to go with. But or all these snowbirds this year that have decided to not go south, this is a really great option for you to run year round. And if you end up hitting a little bit of snow in the mountains as you're driving down, you're covered. You have something that gives you that little bit of extra grip.
You really just brought something to my attention that I had not thought of, is that we do have a lot of snowbirds sticking around who are not probably as well versed in driving in the winter as they should be, because they haven't really done it in a few years.
Yeah.
This will be a big change for them.
It will be. We're seeing a lot of them at the store.
Okay, so let's talk about the store actually, because I imagine since this happened, you've had to implement a lot of new things in the store to keep your employees and your customers safe. So what are you doing?
Yeah, so one of the main things, we've tried to create a one-way flow of traffic. So when you come in the store, there's arrows pointing you which way to go to talk to one of our service advisors, then to go over to our waiting room, where we've set a limit of number of people allowed in there at a time and socially distanced our chairs. We are cleaning them in between each customer, trying to make sure we really take care of all of those high touch points. All of our team members are socially distancing when possible. Sometimes when you're servicing a vehicle with someone, it's not. So we are all wearing masks when we are within that 6-foot radius or 2 meters. We have a really socially responsible sick leave policy right now, so that if somebody is displaying any symptoms, we are monitoring at the start of every shift. We check, I actually myself go around, talk to every single team member to make sure they're symptom free, they feel good, they're ready to be at work that day. And if they're not, they're actually encouraged to call us before they even come in. If they do come in, they're sent home and they get that further instruction from the governing health bodies that are needed.
Okay, excellent. So tell me then how people are, should they book with you? Should they do that online, and they obviously call ahead, right?
Yeah, so definitely call ahead, try to book that appointment. It's the best way to make the process enjoyable and easy for you. So you can book online at kaltire.com. You can call into the store, or you can stop in and see us. And yeah, either way works good.
Okay. And so most important thing is, now is the time. Don't wait until the snow flies, right?
Yes, now is the time.
And if you still have those winter tires on, definitely get them checked.
Yeah, come see us. If you're not comfortable checking them yourself, it's something we can absolutely give you advice on.
Yeah, I've done this with you guys before. It takes about 2 minutes, and it's peace of mind to know that your tires are safe for another season.
Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks so much.